Welcome back to the 2218's Attitude for Gratitude weekly podcast. Everybody, welcome back. Thank you all for the patience of waiting 9 minutes for us to finally get it rolling. But when you're gone for about 3 weeks, coming back from Arkansas and life's living, you deal with some technical stuff as your computer and your mixer make it 2,300 miles with you. But we're back in studio here at the beautiful 2218 over here at First Avenue South in Minneapolis, where we are having this podcast from. And as always, you're never alone. Please reach out if you are struggling. These are things that are monumental in my recovery and in my life today, and I utilize the connections I have made. So, first and foremost, 2218 is the Alano Society. Its vision is to be the premier Alano clubhouse serving the greater Twin Cities that offer support and strength to those who suffer from addiction and for their families. So, this week, we have got some major powerhouse recovery guests in the house. We have one who just celebrated a monumental birthday. I think he just turned like 29 or something.
For the third time.
That's about almost right.
Two.
Yeah, two. And then we also have another fella who is a returning guest. Matter of fact, they're both returning guests. But real quick, I just want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Emily from the club here and from Cheryl, who both helped me power through getting this show going. I got on, and some of our logins have changed. You know what? It's the hurdles we deal with in recovery and in life. So how are we going to show up when those hurdles show up? I am glad I have some people in the room with me now who are like, oh, Tim, you're freaking out. Calm down. I'm surprised I didn't get the whole take a breath and breathe from the guy across from me, because he's good at reminding me that. And it worked out. A little patience and some phone calls. And
once you start flopping around on the floor, that's when I say things.
That's when he says it. So, yes, the last show, sorry that we ended up abruptly stopping it, and that was because I lost power on the laptop. We were in the middle of the Ozarks. It was a great show. We had a lot of people who tuned in. We had a lot of recovery on that show. We had Henry and Debbie from Arkansas down there. Plus, we had Mike, and we had a bunch. If you just tuned into the last available show, it was a really good show. And that one, like I said, that was our first destination show, and it went well. We just didn't, we weren't able to go longer than the laptop could power up. So we had about an hour of juice, and we utilized it. So if you go back and listen to the stories of the people we had on, there was about 9 different people. Some people from Will Work for Recovery was on there. Some people from the club here. Tour guide who's in recovery down from Arkansas was on, Henry. He's good stuff. So that's just part of this whole thing we do. I'm not going to go too in depth about my trip, but it was a blast. It was one of the gifts that we get when
you were here, there, and everywhere. We seen it live.
Yes, I was sharing multiple pictures and multiple videos of hummingbirds and slow motion sunsets and time lapses and blah, blah, blah.
Isn't it nice what recovery can do in our life?
Yeah, because that was something I never would have been able to do. Maybe I would have, but I wouldn't have been able to stay present or remember it, period. It would have been something I wouldn't have been able to remember.
Hiding in the garage, drinking a bottle of Jack and wondering why your life was going by so fast.
Or bar hopping and finding yourself in jail in an entirely different state, which is always
The state of confusion is where I live.
The state of confusion, exactly. You know what? I think we're good. Right? That's it. Good enough for checking in. Remember, here's a few things. Remember, you don't need to be alone. Use this platform. Network out. If you're struggling, please reach out. Mental health's real. Like, don't shoo it away. Deal with it. Please reach out. Get help.
You, me, he, she, us, all, them, they. We are all in this together.
Yes. Addiction and alcoholism, all that shit doesn't care what color, race, or gender you are. Nope. It doesn't. So whatever makes you. Yes. No, it doesn't. My addiction.
Wants to kill you.
Yeah, and it doesn't care what I am. Heavy, fat, skinny, white, black, green, blue, boy or girl. It's out to get me. So we are in this together. Just use this platform. Please utilize this platform all you can for your recovery, for your well-being. Gosh, what else was I get so thrown off so easy nowadays? I'm getting like the guy across from me. I'm getting old. I'm gonna take shots. I didn't get to see you on your birthday. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, again, utilize this platform. If you have any meetings that are struggling or meetings you want to talk about, go ahead and post it on here. If you have questions for my guests that I miss or that you want me to ask them, please just put them on here. Otherwise, I will get my phone number on here, and you can reach out to me directly if you don't want your info out there. So, boys, who are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Schill, and I'm an alcoholic, and I'm here to spend the evening with you guys for an hour or two and maybe talk through this thing. Who's this other handsome young buck next to you?
Hello, everybody. My name is Darrin Hanson, and I'm also an alcoholic.
Yes. First and foremost, what's that like saying? We'll go with you, Darrin. What's it like identifying yourself as an alcoholic? What is that like to you?
At first, it was complete and utter destruction of my pride.
Right.
Saying it out loud for the first few times, it didn't feel right because you fought for so long. Anybody who called you an alcoholic, anybody who tried to get you to go down that road and mention that you might have an issue. Being an alcoholic at one point for me was
a loss.
It was a loss, yeah. I mean,
like a defeat.
Yeah, and admitting that I had a problem was awful. But now, I got no problem saying it. I'll tell you anything.
Before I get to Bob, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There are times where I go to introduce myself and there's a pause. I'm like, shit, and I don't get it because this came up in our men's meeting. I wasn't ashamed when I was sitting in front of a cop car with handcuffs on and cars are going by. Like, I wasn't ashamed, but there was this like embarrassment walking into that one.
Naked from the waist down.
Yeah.
I got a story for you.
Well, it's like, I don't get it. What's that mentality? It's like, and then I'm embarrassed or ashamed to like be like, I'm Tim. I'm a junkie. I'm Tim. I'm an alcoholic. I don't know where that shame or embarrassment comes from, but when I'm out here doing dumb shit, lying, robbing, stealing for my disease, I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't scared to know I was a junkie wandering the streets.
Well, you're not ashamed until you get caught.
Well, yeah, but I just don't get that.
That was our excuse.
Yeah, and like I said, there's times like when we were in Arkansas, we had someone broke down. Me and three people were sitting on the corner, and these guys pulled up on their bikes, hung out with us, and offered a beer. And it was like embarrassed. There was this thing inside me that was, I didn't say no, I don't drink. I was like, no, I'm good. Instead of being like, no, I'm in recovery and I don't drink. There was like a shame there. I don't know why.
Do you think in a situation like that, why do you feel ashamed? Like, why would you feel that way? It's because you kind of skirt the subject a little bit.
It's the honesty program. It's because of, I don't know why, but it's an embarrassment thing.
Gotcha.
And there's no what have I had to be embarrassed about? Right. I'm down there living a life I'd never be able to live if I wasn't in recovery doing what I was doing. But there's like this shame and guilt, and I don't know why. I try to figure out how to ask that question on the show to people, but it might just be me.
Yeah, I go to the Burning Man event out in the Nevada desert, and it's
That was the whole topic we're going to get to because that happened since.
It's an art music festival that's out in the Nevada desert. About 80,000 people show up from all over the world, and it's a huge party event. And I stay in a sober camp of about 250 people, and there's another sober camp that has somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 300 people as well. There used to be 4 of them out there, but I know that the camp that I stay in is called Anonymous Village, and it's just really good, supportive. We have a lot of meetings out there, and I've been offered like this time.
Yeah, let's say what it is. It's known for 77,000 people. It's known for a psychedelic experience.
It used to be really big in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It's more geared now toward I'd say people with families. There's kids camps, camps and activities and stuff for them to do out there. You see a lot more of that stuff, but then also there's the other side of the coin where there's anything that you want to get into out there, you can get into it and get into it deep if you wish. And this year, I did not have the luxury of even being offered a drink, a molly, a hit off of a joint, or a beer even. And the last couple times that I had gone, I ran into it at least a dozen or more times while I was out there. So it's all where you put yourself.
That's what I was going to ask. Was that because you're in the sober camp or the people you're hanging around with? Or were you giving off this thing of, no, that ain't my jam? Or has it evolved into something different?
I rode the streets this time out on the main playa area. The big open area is where a lot of the art installations and music cars and those types of things are. And so there's a lot of that mayhem going on out on the open area. But the real pleasures of seeing how Burning Man operates and what goes on in it is in the city. There's a city.
Explain how. All right, so we're going to dive into it. What the hell? Let's just dive in. No,
its own city.
It's up to you. Okay. It's up to you if you want to share. Bob, you can go to his Facebook and see the pictures. He did a couple photo dumps, and if he wants to share who he is or how to find his Facebook, he will. But this was something that he's done now.
This is my third burn.
In his third burn. Look at, he's got the lingo and everything. So explain to us.
Oh, he just took a piss.
No, he's got a burning desire.
That was back in the day before I had a shot.
So what do you? Break down what is the playa? How big is it? Like, is it like a whole clock size?
It's a big open valley space that's in between 2 mountain ridges out in the Black Rock Desert, 100 miles north of Reno, Nevada. It's the third largest city in the state of Nevada. Once a year for that whole week.
It's 7 days?
It's a 7-day festival from Sunday till Labor Day. It ends actually Sunday evening, the day before Labor Day, but everybody tries to get out the next day on Monday. And since I stay in a sober camp, since I volunteer time to help me in the process of being eligible for a ticket each year, I donate time to this sober camp to help set up and tear down. Now, I started, a friend of mine who got me involved with this about 9 years ago asked me to come out, and I studied the culture for about 4 years before I even made the first attempt to try to even get out to this event. And I tried to go into the regular open sales, which is about 30,000 tickets, and they sell out in about 25 minutes because it's a worldwide sale that opens at noon or 1 o'clock on a certain day in like February. So you purchase your ticket and your vehicle pass all in one shot if you can get in this virtual line that you're standing in up to the ticket counter.
It's a whole process trying to get a ticket. What was the time you just said they'd sell out and how quick?
They'd sell out in about 25 minutes.
And that's
30,000 tickets. Because they have these other sales where if you want to pay $1,200 for a ticket, you can buy any one of them tickets, and there are no waiting in that line, I'll tell you that. But the actual true value of those are called the pre-sale, early sale event. And then those are about 1,000 to 2,000 tickets go there. But The main sale for the regular people that want to go to this event, they all stand in a virtual line basically, and the second that the bidding opens or that the door opens for the ticket window, should we say, virtually, they just start selling tickets worldwide. Boom, 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 boom.
First come, first serve.
Yeah, first come, first serve. And I logged in and hit open up right at noon when it said to do it, and it's showing me in this virtual line. And I watched it 4 years in a row trying to get a ticket, and I wouldn't even get up to the counter, and it says, "Oh, ticket sales are sold. Everybody's sold out, but you might have another chance." Well, then there's a couple other things that you can try to do. Someone can't go or make it, you can get on a list to where they'll send you a ticket and you can pay them back for it. But then there's what's called direct group sales, and there's all these theme camps out there, hundreds of them, thousands of them.
Theme camps, what do you mean?
A theme camp is like the sober camp that I stay in. It's a camp and it has its own theme. There's Camp Fuck Yeah. There's Camp Death Barbies. Death to Barbies. There's all different types of camps that have a theme, anywhere from 10 to 150, 250 people in it. So I think there was one that I had about 500 people in it. That was the largest one that I'd heard of, and I can't remember the name of the camp. But it's called direct group sales, and now these groups get allotted so many tickets. So if you're in with a group, you can get into the direct group sales, and there is a way to go about it if anybody's interested. Down the road, I can explain more in depth, but basically, if I volunteer time to this theme camp that I go with, I have to buy 2 tickets and a vehicle pass, and I either sell both those tickets and a vehicle pass to someone else in need in our theme camp who didn't get a ticket or didn't get involved with the direct group sales, or I keep 1 ticket for myself, and if I'm driving out there, I keep 1 vehicle pass and 1 ticket, and then I sell the other one off to another person in need in our theme camp. So it's a whole
system.
Yeah, it's a whole system on how to even to get into this.
Well, for that first couple of years, you explained to me you had a girl that would take care of buying a couple group tickets or something like that, and she would fix you up with a ticket.
Well,
or something to that effect.
Yeah, we can't go into
whatever, but now you've got to figure it out where you can get it yourself.
Yeah, basically,
it's all about who you know. It sounds like
pretty much that's how these theme camps work. If you know someone involved in a theme camp and they are involved with direct group sales, you're pretty much guaranteed a ticket.
So theme camps are allotted a certain amount of tickets, but then the regular old public, it's first come, first serve.
First come, first serve, and that's a free-for-all online.
Utter mayhem.
25,000, 30,000 tickets.
And they go with the blink of an eye.
Fast. Yeah, really, really fast. So it was a hard event to get into, and then what ended up happening is after the 4th year of me not getting a ticket, this person said to me, "Well, I think we may be able to find you a ticket." And he turned me on to this sober camp, and the way that I could get not guaranteed, because you're really not guaranteed anything,
right?
But a really good chance of me getting to Burning Man every year that I wanted to go to Burning Man is to volunteer time to this camp, and that's what I did. So I stayed late and helped tear the camp down, and then it's 2 days after the event's over. It ends on Sunday evening. I spend all of Monday and then some of Tuesday tearing down the theme camp, the last of it, and then you can drive right out on Tuesday. But can you imagine 60,000 people trying to exodus?
Yeah.
Trying to get out of this thing.
Isn't the road in and out just a single lane highway?
12 hours just to get to the blacktop, it's on an Indian reservation. And it's like 10 to 12 hours just to get to the blacktop 5 miles away, and then from the blacktop, it's probably because of stacked up traffic, bumper to bumper. It's another 2 hours just to get to the main highway, and then things will open up somewhat to that. So, who wants to wait? 15, 16 hours. That's
right?
Just, yeah. So try to do it wisely. Either stay late or coming early is okay too, helping set up the camp, but staying later that extra day really ensures me pretty much a straight drive out, and it's 45 minutes to get to the main road, which is about 5 miles, and it's really bumpy terrain. This year was unbelievably dusty and unbelievably bumpy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. You have to really be a Boy Scout while you're out there. If anybody's interested, you can go online to burningman.org and look up the 10 main principles, and there's 10 other I can't think of what they're called. There's 10 guidelines, and then there's 10 principles of Burning Man, being self-radical reliance. So in other words, you have to be self-sustaining for yourself out there. Pretty much have to be a Boy Scout.
Everything that goes in, everything comes out with you.
Yep. You got to bring in your own water, your own food, being self-reliant. But there's also a theme of the playa provides. There was a guy that showed up with absolutely nothing, naked, and he did a video on YouTube. He got to the main gate, and someone gave him a ticket to get in, so he got in. Someone gave him a shirt. Someone gave him a pair of pants.
Shirt
someone
first,
gave him food.
sure.
It was like an experiment. It was an experiment.
Yeah.
Experiment.
It was an experiment of,
that this
of
is
checking out to see if the playa
friendly.
truly does provide.
Gotcha.
And he showed up at the gates and with nothing, and was able to, and it happened. So it's just really weird. There's so many YouTube videos out there on Burning Man out there if you're really interested in checking it out. So I love people, art, and music, and that's what that festival is about. Always have. I'm an extrovert to the maximum, and I just love socializing and meeting people from all over the world. And seeing all the beautiful art and listening and dancing to the fun, cool, crazy, there's all kinds of electronica, industrial, techno, trance. There's all different kinds of music out there that bluegrass, orchestra. There's a playa harmonic orchestra that plays symphony music one evening out there on the playa, or a couple evenings out there. So it's just, it's what they call a social living experiment. So if you'd like to be involved in something to that nature, go to burningman.org and check that out. Or you can go on my Facebook page, which is Bob Schill, SCHILL on Facebook, and you can kind of wander through a lot of my photographs and stuff. And there's also Burning Man pages on Facebook too. You can become friends on Burning Man, and then you can find out about theme camps. See if you can get involved with a theme camp. The other sober camp that's out there is Run Free. They might have a Facebook page, and then also Anonymous Village is the one that I stay in, and those are all private Facebook pages that you can be a part of and get involved with and get to meet a few of the people. And I've really made some beautiful, awesome, sober friendships of, at least 20 or 25, 30 people, and the only 3 times that I've gone. And to see someone experience their first burn, they call it, their eyes are in there just wide open, and you will never have experienced anything like this in your entire life. I can guarantee you that. And you will never, it is definitely, if you're into, like I said, people, music, and art, it is a bucket list item thing. The price of a ticket of admission is $500, $495, I think, or $480. And then a vehicle pass for your vehicle to get it in is $120. So where else can you go to a music festival, art festival for 7 days out of a week for less than $100 a day? That's pretty interesting to say the least. So, and if you like it, it kind of gets in your blood, and you kind of got to get back there because there's something truly spiritual about that whole art. And they build a temple every year to people who can recognize the ones who passed on. I've brought out plenty of memories of friends that we've lost in recovery either through cancer, disease, natural causes, or drug addiction or alcoholism. I brought their photos out there and I put them in the temple, and they burned the temple the last evening of the festival. So that's a real spiritual thing, to see all of the photos of the people who've passed, of loved ones who were in, that people bring pictures, and they bring tuxedos, wedding dresses. I mean, just all kinds of
The memorabilia type. It's a way to remember people have lost or people have passed. Yes. Yep. And it's very emotional, right? It's a spiritual.
It's unbelievable. The tears well up inside you. Like this year's burn, I was in tears after 3 days. About the third or fourth day, I went out to the temple and I came back, and it just let me know that I need to I mean, my wife, Mary Jo, I love her so much, and it just let me know that I need to reconnect with her and be with her and just love her, show her more love and affection than I feel that
it recenters you.
It does. It really recenters your chi, should we say.
Well, when you came home the first time I talked to you, you said, I'm getting not acclimated into society, but you had a term. Not decompress.
No. Well,
you remember what
decompression stage, but what do they call that?
You did. You had it down. You had the lingo down.
They call this the default world.
The default world. Yes.
And and then leaving it, they call it the exodus, and then getting back into acclimation. Getting reacclimated to the default world is what they call it, because it's a whole different world.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we all know. I mean, not being there before you went, it's phooey. All this reacclimation and but going there, the experience. It's almost like I haven't been there, but I explain it to people who've been to like Brainerd Nationals. You can try to explain that thunder of the 3,000 RPMs. You have to go have your own experience.
Yes, you do.
Same deal with recovery. Right. I can't have your experience.
Exactly.
You got to go out and have your own experience. And just hearing it in Bob's voice for 10 minutes, you can tell what it's about. It's in some cases life-changing.
It really was for me. It gets me spiritually centered every single time that I have gone out there, more so than most. A lot of people get a lot of spirituality by going to church, and organized religion, and that's cool. And I can't, I derive some from that too as well. I derive most of my spirituality from, going to meetings and working with other men and stuff, and seeing those miracles happen in their life. Like Darrin and I worked in the book. We started working in the book when I first met Darrin. And then he moved on to a different sponsor, which was freaking awesome, because there's not only one way by which one can recover, you guys. And everybody does something different in their recovery. The truth of the matter is, you can go to 7 different churches, hear the same topic spoken about, and have 7 different views and opinions, and the message sent across to you. So, please be open-minded for your recovery and to your recovery, so then that way you can grow and spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically through your recovery. So, don't be closed-minded. Stay on the learning curve. Remain teachable, and help others when you can. That's what's really helped me is I've stayed sober 100% of the time that I've worked with other men.
Right. And I think, you weren't there. We were sharing about this at Thursday. It's, when you're not even sponsoring, but when you're in this program a while and someone reaches out, hey, I'm struggling. If you don't have an answer, what I've been told by my predecessors is offer them to go work with a newcomer. Offer them to go help someone struggling. And I think the idea, I used to pick things apart and be like, well, why would you? It doesn't matter. It works. But looking at it is, while you're busy helping someone else who's struggling, your problems and your worries kind of take a back seat. So it's easy to get outside yourself and help someone else who could use the help, while your problems that are so big and so serious and front and center take a back seat. You realize, well, shit, I'm not the center of the world.
Well, what I love about the change in the growth I've seen in you, Darrin, is when I first met you, everything was okay. You were Mr. Copacetic, and Now, Darrin has really, if you guys don't know Darrin, you've really gone through some really physical, emotional, and mental stuff over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've been through a ton.
Yeah.
The last
You were on the
7
show
years,
how long ago?
about a month and a half ago.
And you got to tell the majority of your story, but I know that we had some people reach back out about some of the back issues because
Okay.
he did explain a lot of the physical stuff and some of your knuckleheadedness about the fighting with family and this, but the lives we led prior to. Tell us what you just went through because you were dealing with a major issue with your back. You're in here limping and
you're
hunched
talking
over.
about it, working your way through it. So
Right. So during since I was on the show last, previous to that, I had a discectomy for my back. Terrible issues with my left leg because of my back. Lost my big toe, my left foot due to blood flow issues.
the big tow truck took it.
Yeah, sure did. That little pig is never going to market again. Well, it went to market for sure. So I had that to try and stimulate and make things better. They put a battery pack in my back that had leads to go to my spine. So this is all within a year ago today is when all my problems started. So I had all that stuff happen. I was still having issues walking. I couldn't walk upright. I had a terrible time on my feet. I was living on pain medication just to get by and work and all that. And 2 weeks ago today, I was at the U of M Fairview and had a spinal fusion.
Oh, okay.
So he's moving a little slow.
No,
Spinal fusion? No, yeah, you just told me like, oh no, this is awesome because prior your spinal they nicked something. I think is the way you worded it with the discectomy, right?
Yeah, something went sideways with the discectomy that didn't allow me to stand straight up anymore without searing pain in my left hip, through my groin, and down through my knee. So who doesn't want to stand up straight and be able to walk without any hassle? Back problem, my back hurt, and my back didn't hurt before the discectomy. So that was something new. I didn't like having pain constantly, and it's always nice when you wake up from a surgery, especially something this drastic. Wake up and only having pain for a couple of days from the surgery itself. Now I can walk and I can stand up straight. I don't have to sit a certain way. I don't have to sleep a certain way. And things are going really, really well. For being out of the hospital for 2 weeks, I went for a 2-mile walk the other day, and that's something I wouldn't have been able to do. So, yeah, that's.
So that's making it. It's made a huge. It's some freedom now.
Oh yeah. So then they were able to take that battery pack out of my back and those wires. So now I can get a regular MRI instead of having to go through a whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah, it's amazing. Modern medicine is something else, man.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's where you were at prior to now. What were you doing to get through this pain?
Oh, it's pain medication and
Prior to recovery, pain medication. What?
prior recovery.
Prior
Recovery. Shit, anything hurt, it was drinking. If I was happy, I was drinking. I was sad, I was drinking. If it hurt, I mean.
Well, didn't that have a lot to do with your last drink you had? Was you thought that could help with some of the pain too?
Oh yeah,
It was.
yeah. My last relapse. So I'm sitting a week out from, well, not a week out, a couple weeks out from 9 months sober again. But I've been stringing along like 10 months, and then I'd relapse, and then a couple months go by, I'd relapse, and then I just went on a vacation and just drank every day, and got back on the wagon. After so I think it was 9 months again, the pain in my back and my foot, it was just too much. I mean, I'm looking at a toe that's no longer there, meat coming out of the stitches, a leg that's not functioning correctly, a back that's killing me.
You gotta tell Mark.
Okay.
Let's hear the marshmallow story.
Okay. So that last relapse, it was pain related because guys like Tim, we discussed this last time.
Yes.
I was not able to get the pain medication that I was supposed to because I had a prescription, and it went. I was a week out from getting pain meds again, and I had none. So what I do, I drink. So the marshmallow story. Tim, you haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything about a marshmallow story.
So I'm an amputee. My left big toe is missing, and I'm sitting at a campfire with kids and the wife, and I'm looking at the fire I have. My feet are up. I don't have
phantom pain.
I did, yeah. I have phantom pain, and all that stuff that you hear about is real. And I'm sitting there looking at my foot, like the silhouette of my foot in the fire. And I look at it and I go, that's about the size of a marshmallow. And almost by the time I got marshmallow out of my mouth, my youngest goes and warms up a marshmallow and plops it right on there.
It's right where the toe used to be.
Where my missing toe is, he put a marshmallow on there. It was gooey, so it stuck. And I had, it was unbelievable because it tricked my brain just enough
to think you had
to think it was back. So I had, all of a sudden, the bottom of my foot felt great. I was able to move my toes in ways that I hadn't been able to move them since I had my toe cut off.
That's weird, dude.
It was fantastic. And I was trying to describe this to my kids and my wife. This feeling that I have right now is not something that I hope to God you guys ever have to experience. This is the best thing that I've felt in such a long time. And it's all because I put a goddamn marshmallow on my foot.
That's good stuff.
You started crying. So happy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've heard of like phantom pain. Like when I've had teeth removed, I've felt phantom pain. I've talked to amputees with arms.
Right.
Phantom pain or phantom movement or thinking it's there. Same difference. Like you felt the toe there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And when you're wiggling it around and it's, kind of flopping back and forth. So it looks like a real toe. I mean, if you squint your eyes just right, you can see a toe that's really there.
Dude, you had a marshmallow on your toe and you were feeling it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So I have feet that are like hands anyway. My toes are long, and I can use them to do.
Grab a monkey.
I'm like an orangutan. Yeah. I can probably grab this bottle of water right there. Like, seriously. And the flexibility in your foot goes away when your big toe goes away because everything's kind of together.
It's tied together.
Yeah. So like you try and I don't know what the word is, like
clinch
your toes. I wasn't able to clinch them nearly as far without my big toe being there as I did. And all of a sudden I put this damn marshmallow on there and my toes just go brrr and clinch all the way. I haven't been able to do this for a year. This is the best thing ever. My kids are laughing at me and, yeah, you got a marshmallow toe and now you feel good. I'm like, yes. Hey, why are you crying, Dad? Because this is fantastic.
It's kind of comical, but you know what? Like,
it's funny what our brains do.
yes, right. But then again, like if you were not sober, you would have been able to experience that because you would have been. You just said what you did to get through that type of stuff was drink,
right?
And would you even probably remembered it? Because I know the last show you talked about when you drank, the next day people would have to tell you about what happened.
No, it was just that one time. I'm not one of those guys that black out, but since I had been sober for so long, and then I started, I was dabbling in drinking again. But at the point where, and people that didn't hear the story last time I was on aren't going to understand, I got a big fight with my uncle. Lots of stuff happened. I blacked out. I was broken ribs. My back is bleeding. And I had no idea. So I blacked out that one time. There was maybe 5 blackouts in my entire drinking career.
Yeah.
So if I was in that situation at a cabin with my kids and my wife, and it's 10 o'clock at night, I'd have had a half bottle of Jack on, and
right.
I wouldn't have had a care in the world. So
yeah, I get it.
Being sober allowed me to be present in that moment And that's the best. That was the best part about it is I'm not hammered. I'm not drinking from morning till night, and I'm able to be present with my kids, be present with my wife, and just good things. Good things, nothing but good things.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said the marshmallow story because that just, I mean, that shows how one small thing from a tragedy can change our whole outlook on anything. And it's just a matter of perception on how life loves showing up while we're making other plans.
Right.
And next thing you know, if we're not accepting of that plan, that's the hard part is we may not have to, we may not like what has shown up in our life, but the truth of the matter is once we accept it, that's when acceptance is the answer to all our problems.
Right.
It says that of everything. And then we can move forward and try to stay healthier and live healthier and act healthier and not display our unhealthy behaviors that we really love to show up when we're not staying attuned spiritually.
So now I'm going to tell another story of blessing that I've had today. And Bobby, you brought me to AA straight from jail. So I got out of jail. It's negative 50 degrees. I walked the mile and a half home. I had an ice chunk on my face for a beard. So you pick me up, you bring me to AA, and I will never forget it because it was the chapter on the wives, and I sat there and bawled my eyes out in the corner by myself because everything that was said hit home for me, and I never thought of how my drinking affected anybody else, and hearing the story of the wives, it brought things into perspective for me, and I say my wife, but she's not. Jess and I actually got a marriage certificate today, or a marriage license.
Congratulations.
So within the next 6 months,
Wow.
we are gonna get married.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know that you've been there and you've seen, how bad our relationship was. It was just in shambles because of my doing.
Yeah.
And we've grown.
It was on really shaky ground. I can put it to you that
It
way.
really was.
Because I remember your wife but she stayed out of your way, and she really did. She said, "Your recovery is your recovery. Your journey is your journey," and that's what I really like about your wife. And that's what that's when I see relationships truly make it. And I've been here long enough to see those relationships either fold or not make it, or make it. And the ones that 90% of the time or more make it are the ones where the wives go, that's his recovery is his recovery. Now let him do what he needs to do. So rather than try to control, because a lot of relationships we're all are jockeying for position usually, and once the jockeying stops, I think that really helps. The tit for tat, keeping score, that kind of shit. That's unhealthy in a relationship.
Yeah, I'm so glad that's gone.
Well, quick question for both you, and I know you know a lot about this, but what do you do when, let's just say the husband, the boyfriend, the guy gets into recovery? Do we expect our wives to understand it? Do we expect them to get behind us and support us while waiting through the hassle we've been to become this clean guy?
Well, they've been trying to support us up till then, goddammit. So I would think that they would be trying to do something to, if they see that we are trying to better ourselves, and they've gone and exhausted 99.9% of everything else that they've tried to do to get us to where we needed to be. And then all of a sudden they see us starting to put forth a true effort. I think that is a turning point in a lot of the relationships, and then they don't have to be feeling that they have to be controlling or watching. Because dude, I'm telling you, I've seen relationships where the guys that I've worked with were like they literally told me, I thought you were going to steal my husband and poison me.
Yeah, I was trying to get to that question somehow. What happens when the wife comes to you and says something? I'm thinking of a guy we had on the show who I know you've sponsored. There was some stuff with the wife. She came to you and said something like this. Could you share about that somehow, or how does that get dealt with?
Oh, the why didn't he call me and why did you kind of deal.
Yeah.
And how does that get dealt with?
Well, you tell them, you know what, you might want to try Al-Anon first and foremost.
Right.
Really.
No, serious. You're right.
A direction, and because a lot of us want control. There isn't one of us, I don't think, that doesn't want some type of control. And if things aren't going well, if things aren't going well, of course they're going to want to try to control that. But if they start seeing change and stuff, and that's why, I had an incident where I was working with a gentleman, and his wife thought that I was there to poison him against her, and only take his side. And the truth of the matter was, in recovery, to be, how would you put it? To be as healthy as possible, you don't take sides.
It's not about sides.
Right. It's not, and that's what I tell all the people that I'm working with. This is not about sides. I'm not listening, and no matter, what he says is between him and I can't divulge that with you because I want him to feel safe in his recovery. Like I'm going to keep score and take sides. I let the wives know and I let the men know that I will not take sides on this. I can't. The truth of the matter is all I want is for you to get healthier and for your relationship to succeed and for your relationship to get healthier. But if I have no experience, strength, or hope in an area of that I can't share with you, I have no business sharing anything because my personal opinion can hurt you and do some things that can really be detrimental to hurting your relationship. So, and then sure enough, a few months go by and this young man had a relapse and his wife calls me 3 days later because I hadn't touched base with him for a couple of days and says, well, did he tell you? And I said, do you think it should be his responsibility to tell me rather than you telling me anything? Oh, well, then fine. And she was a little upset, but that was the truth of the matter is if you're only going to get out of your recovery what you put into your recovery, and if you're not going to be honest while you're in your recovery, you're not in recovery. That's the truth.
Right.
Because we've been deceitful and dishonest for so long. If we don't change those types of things, then nothing changes. So that's the way it is. That's what I was taught in recovery, the healthiest way. So
I think that was one of the toughest things to get over early in sobriety for me was, well, I'm sober now. How come you don't trust me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've been so dishonest and so such a deceiver for so long, and then all of a sudden you come in and you got a couple of days, couple of months of sobriety put together, and you all of a sudden expect that trust to be there. Well, I'm sober now. Everything's good, right?
Yes. And that's the thing that I learned this in early recovery, and I think I was trying to allude to it. Well, I keep getting this camera keeps popping up and showing me, and this is supposed to be like no live footage. We're having a big issue with anyone on Facebook finding this. So YouTube I'm having no problem. I've had like 40 people pop on and watch from YouTube.
Okay.
For some reason, it's even showing that I somehow only have a select amount of people that can watch on Facebook. I don't know why, but it's showing, like, I went through your phone and it said Tim must have switched something and made it a smaller group who can view this. So I got to talk to someone who knows about this.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, you can watch it no problem. So
How do people find it on YouTube?
Bob
Attitude 2218 Attitude for Gratitude.
Yeah,
just
so
go to YouTube and
Bob has it on his screen now. But what I was trying to get to earlier and find out
has the live chat
is how, like in early recovery, I was in here thinking, all right, I'm making changes. Everyone should have my back now. I'm changing. And it was really quickly explained to me, like, Tim, for how long were you lying, cheating, stealing, living this life? Because you decide one day, like you claim, not you're going to, you claim that now you're going to get better. Like, no one owes you shit. That's what I was trying to get to when I was saying, like, these wives, should they have our backs on this? And I know every situation's different, but no one owes me anything because I chose to get clean. I also chose not to be clean.
See, that's another thing, too, that I discussed with this young man. Is he goes, God, she's fucking pissed.
Yeah,
and I go,
here we go.
She has every freaking right to be, dude. Don't you understand that?
That's what I was trying to get, yes.
Your wife even said,
for
she's
sure.
pissed. And I go, I told her, too. I said, girl, you have every right to feel your feelings.
The ringers we put people through, the bridges we burned, and because I decide to set down the bottle, the needle.
Once you validate that with the other side of the relationship, that really is a healing thing.
Yeah.
To let them know that, yes, your anger is justified, but your hate toward it, and how you misguide yourself with that anger so that it comes out sideways. No. Use that hate and that anger of the disease of alcoholism or drug addiction to help you strengthen to do whatever you can to put forth any effort, what you feel you need to do to change in the relationship, So that's just the way that works.
And I get it. Like, for me, it was a tough pill to swallow that everyone, and of course, I was spoiled. Like, in my mom's eyes, of course, I never did wrong, and she had my back no matter what I did, got clean, wasn't clean. And almost enabling point of being detrimental to me getting clean. I also knew if I was going to, it had to be because I chose to. She's going to love me regardless. I don't come from a family where they stop loving me because I'm fucking up.
Right. And making amends is not saying I'm sorry.
No.
Because they've heard I'm sorry a million freaking times.
This me not the living amends. That's what you do with people who you love.
Right.
Or who love you.
And they think, and that's another thing, is just the living amends is pretty unthinking, to be honest. It's not thinking about the people around you and stuff. We must make direct amends. It says that even in the book of recovery, except when to do so would harm them or others. So, in other words, the proper way of an amends I was taught was to go to that person, let them know that, you know what, I understand. They don't want to hear I'm sorry. I understand my behavior was unhealthy. And I know that it directly affected you. So what can I do to go from this point forward to improve our relationship? What can I change? What do you think that I need to work on? In other words, you put the ball in their court so that they let you know where their feelings are and what they feel, needs to be done or can be done to help improve that relationship, and let them know that to go from this point forward is what we're doing. We can't change the past.
No.
So that's why what can I do to change, my behavior or whatever actions or whatever needs to be done so that we can move forward from this. And then you move forward from it. You don't, like I said, we're not jockeying for position anymore. We're not keeping score. We're not doing tit for tat anymore. What we're doing is trying to move forward and work on that change that will make our relationships healthier.
And that, in my experience, doing exactly that knocks people off their feet.
Yeah.
And they have no idea how to respond because they're not expecting that to come from you.
Right.
They're expecting
putting the ball in their court.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. I was waiting for another.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Because this is the 90% of the time in the previous life that you had, you were holding on to that ball real tight. And that ball was staying in your court and everything was about you. But when you give the ball to them, put the ball in their court, a lot of times I saw that people had no idea how to respond because they were just blown away by the
What that is sweeping our side of the street, guys.
Right.
That's exactly what the
100%, yes.
the ninth step teaches us, is to make those direct amends wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. There are some rights that can't be fully, or wrongs that can be fully righted, that can be detrimental to someone's either rational, personal, psychological, emotional, that could really emotionally affect the people. So the truth of the matter is that's when you make the direct amends with your higher power, and you share that stuff. You've already shared that stuff before you got to the ninth step in your fifth step. So then that way, when you get to the eighth step, you become willing to make amends to them all. And then, like I said, when you get to the ninth step, there was a couple of amends that I could not directly make, but I know that I've made peace with my Maker,
Right.
And my higher power with those, knowing that I have never displayed that type of behavior again. I pray that I never will display that type of behavior again, and I don't want to directly hurt them people that I could directly affect if they knew the honest truth. And that's what that's about. So,
No, I was saying get up on your mic better. I just got a message. I couldn't hear you. So here, I'm going to kind of try to regurgitate what Rick B., who runs the 4-step workshop here at 2218 on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, shameless plug. He was explaining, we were on step 9. And I'm gonna regurgitate his story, but it made sense to me. So he's like, I was out running and gunning, wrecking the town, stealing, robbing, cheating, doing what we do. He was into speed, and he stole. He stole from Social Security offices. He stole from the heating exchange. He stole from the Goodwill, from welfare. He's like, how do I pay that back? How do I make that amends? And then he went on to say, you know what, in early recovery, I used to take meetings to the prisons. I would go to the prisons, and I made a connection with a guy who would have been a lifer. He wasn't tooting his horn saying, because I came there, this guy turned his life around. But the guy got out on parole. He came and found Rick at a meeting. He started following Rick around, and the guy told him, hey, it's something you said made me look at myself. I've turned my life around. Thank you, Rick. Where's the meetings you go to? He followed Rick around for years. Now, and Rick said this, and he's not tooting his horn, but he said, look at it this way. This guy who, he gave the stats. At this time, it was $33,800 a year to house a prisoner. Okay, well, something he said, because of his recovery, this guy stayed out of prison. He saved the state $33,800 a year for 10 years. That's $380,000. There's some money paid back that he's not.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying? I had never thought about that, and that's the type of shit. That's why I love Rick on the show. But that was one. He's like, that's one little piece. And then you think about the shit you do, down to showing up at a meeting. Something you may have shared just by showing up could have saved this guy from getting back in the car, drinking and driving, killing some poor lady's kids. Okay, you can't make up for the bottles of booze you threw out your window going down 94 that 10 years ago, but you may have just saved some lady her kid, so keep doing your living amends. Those small things you never think about, there you go.
Those aren't even living amends; those are actually direct amends.
Direct amends, yes.
That are around, behind the scenes.
You never know the effect your actions could have that are this so teeny. Shit, with this damn video, my audience could have seen me. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I'm on the video.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm not on the video.
Well, the world's got to see your pretty face, man.
Next time this happens, I'm turning it around to show you boys. I'd love to turn it on back there.
That baby around. So that's why I say, and even it says in the book, making a living amends by just staying sober. It doesn't say by making direct changes in our life and doing those things. Those are direct amends.
Right.
So him by changing his life and staying out of jail and those kinds of things, that's a direct amends that he's making to the correctional facility.
Yeah.
So
well, being the example, like I say, the trickle down effect for what you may do, or volunteering your time at the food shelf.
Yep.
Things like this. If you don't know how to give back to these communities, or to these entities you may have brought. Like, I probably didn't deserve EBT or cash assistance when I was getting cash assistance or for what I was spending it on. How do I even equate that money? Half the time I don't remember what I was doing.
Right.
How do I give it back? How do I pay that back? Direct amends. Whatever. Don't live the life I was living. I had a buddy, Derek. You know Derek. We were close in early recovery. He's like, I used to throw needles out the windows in neighborhoods. I didn't care. It could have been by a school. Fuck, I don't know. I was too busy worrying about the next blast.
Right.
How do you make up for that? And he was like, I would, now at that time, early recovery, he was really gung-ho. He's like, I would go to little neighborhood parks and pick up. Just clean. I didn't have to tell no one. I wasn't in
direct amends.
Yeah, I'm not doing it so someone knows. I had to do a lot of these amends we make for us to grow and move forward in life.
Right.
Because those amends we don't make, a lot of times drive us back to the bottom. It's like not doing a thorough fifth step.
Yeah, we come in and we take. So, after a while, a guy posed this question to me after about 6 months to a year. I think he looked at my face and says, yeah, so when are you going to be done taking? And I go, what? He goes, when are you going to start getting back?
Yeah.
I didn't equate that, and then all of a sudden, took a couple more years for me to finally realize, wait a minute, oh, that's what he means. I got to give back to society in general, and to people, and to humanity, and to all those different things that I need to get back to, rather than being my selfish, self-centered, same old self of wanting all about
me. Or what do you do? You're getting ready
warming up for the opera.
Yeah,
I love all the time. I'm warming up for that opera. So I still run into those little bouts of that. Not like I did on a real regular basis, but that's another thing. Here's another really cool thing. How do you know when your behavior's unhealthy if someone doesn't put you in check?
There you go.
And that's the truth of the matter.
There we go. We're gonna.
No, you're taking my inventory. No, I'm not.
I was just gonna say, let's tie it into what we said earlier. Yes, we tied this in earlier. Me taking someone's inventory, but you checked me on it. You said, now there's a difference between taking someone's inventory, because this is a whole topic. Taking someone's inventory and what? Watching someone else's bobber.
Right.
Whatever the case. There is a difference between that too, and what you're talking about, I think that can help save lives.
There's taking inventory, and then there's giving a healthy assessment of your behavior.
Yeah.
And if your behavior is unhealthy, you better believe I'm going to call you on it. Or people, I pray that friends that care enough about me and my recovery to say, hey, Bob, do you realize you just did this? And I'm like, oh, shoot, yeah.
One of the hardest conversations I had, Darrin, in early recovery, not even conversations, and I wouldn't say a scolding, because it wasn't a scolding. It was a friend it was someone I surrounded myself with. That I always say, I surround myself with people that don't co-sign my shit. Toot my horn on it as much as I can. But this gentleman, who's sitting across from me now, we were really close. It was a year or two I wasn't working or something, and he's retired, so we're hanging out all the time. And the first time I heard the term pie face, I pie faced him. But he called me. We were in the truck, and I think
pie face.
Bob will here in a sec. But we were in the truck, and he called me on my shit. He's like, "Look, man, if you say you're gonna do something and you don't do it, like, that's not friendship. That's not following through with your word. Like, do you want to be a man of your word?" And it was, to me, it was a hard conversation. It was like a parent scolding me, but it wasn't. It was a friend holding me accountable to being a friend. And it was like when Manny called me out for telling a dirty joke or something. And I wasn't telling a dirty joke to have people laugh. I wanted people to, hey, listen to Tim. It was all the wrong reasons. And he put me in my seat. He didn't yell at me. He didn't scold me. He's like, is that who you really want to be, Tim? Nice as could be.
Right. And that's the thing about getting pie-faced. I don't like getting pie-faced. In other words, if you say you're going to do something, don't not show up or give me a call and act like it didn't happen. That's the same as hitting me in the face with a pie.
Pie face.
I mean, one of them nasty whipped cream pies, And I said, you pie-faced me on a couple of different things that we were going to do, and you said you would do this, and that's not following through with your commitments. So,
And you know what? My feelings got hurt, and it's because
but I
it
let
doesn't
you know
matter.
too,
Yeah.
and I go,
Yeah.
this isn't to scold you,
No.
Tim. This isn't. I'm not even saying this with malice. I'm not saying this with a raised voice. I'm just letting you know how much I care about our friendship and our relationship.
Yeah.
To let you know that
You cared enough to even do it.
right.
He could have just never did shit.
Anything and then
Yeah.
been resentful. And I don't do that.
Or just put me in the curb and moved on to the next guy.
Right.
Anything. Like
those are the
Yeah.
hard conversations we need to learn to have with one another in recovery, in our recovery community, in our recovery families, in our recovery relationships, and even people that aren't even in recovery outside the walls of Alcoholics Anonymous
Yes.
or NA or any of the recovery programs that we choose to work in our life. I want to be a person of integrity and a man of my word, and I want to be trusted.
Yes.
And how can you gain trust when you say one thing and you do another?
Well, and this is where I think that we had a kid who's been on a few times. He's like, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. And what hurt when Bob was telling me this is, and it helped me in life because I was like, I wanted to come over and help. It wasn't that I was trying to dog you out. None of that mattered. It was my word, and it didn't matter. And he helped me. He's like, you're spreading yourself too thin. I know you meant good, but this is what happened. You said you'd do it. You didn't show up. Like, it helped me grow as a person in life. So one of our faithful listeners, a guy by the name of John B., when is it taking away the action of being honest, unselfish, without fear? Question. If that was the question. If I check you, I'm taking that responsibility away from your higher power. I may have read that wrong. When is it taking away the action of being honest, comma, unselfish, comma, without fear? Question mark. If I check you, I'm taking that responsibility away from your higher power.
Not necessarily, because here's the thing: some of these behaviors are so deeply ingrained. If we are not made aware of them, we don't even realize we're doing them.
Right.
I can verify because I've been called on my stuff.
Well,
many times when I go, I didn't even realize I just did that. So I mean, there is you're
I see what
exactly
Johnny's
right,
saying.
John.
Yeah,
I know exactly what he's
yeah.
saying, and he's true.
But our example we just said, I would have kept on going thinking it's fine because Bob knew I meant to come help him. I said I'd do 5 different things for 5 different people. It got to be 7 o'clock. Unless he had that hard conversation with me,
at least call me. At least
I would have kept doing something.
But not just not show up and then act like next time.
Yeah, the next
year, like, hey man, what's happening?
Because that's what it was. The next day, I was like, all right, yeah, let's go do this. We hook up, and then we have that. He has that conversation with me. I'm like, oh shit, I did not come through.
Well, it stings. We don't want to be hurt by our friends.
I'm cleaning your own side of the street too, though, Bob.
Yeah.
Bringing that up.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't want to be resentful.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Cleaning his side too, because it's gonna build a resentment. Right. So we get right in front of it.
So when someone lets me know that, John, to answer your question, if I don't realize I'm doing something and someone lets me know that, boom, there's my process of letting that go. That's my higher power. That's why I say when I'm sitting in meetings, I'm sitting in front of God with skin on. Because guess what? My higher power is working through that person at that moment to call me on it without judgment, without malice, without hate, without anger. And then I can learn to grow from that. So that's my higher power speaking through them, I believe.
Yeah, now that we just had the conversation, it makes more sense. When is it taking away the action of being honest and selfish and without fear? If I check you, I'm taking the responsibility away from your higher power. And I see both sides now. What John's saying exactly. I wasn't following it the way I was reading it, but it makes sense. It does. Like, this is my walk, my life. I got to figure this out. And for me and my creator to get this figured out together. But you touched on it too. Like, you see it. Isn't that who always says that? God with skin? Isn't it John? Who's usually, that's you.
I came up.
Yeah.
Because I just feel that.
You never know. You never know where you heard the message.
Hear a message,
Son of a bee.
Hey, I just Googled pie face and cream pie. And
Don't go to,
don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
Especially on Urban
No,
Dick.
you-
Is that what you read from Urban Dictionary?
No, I just Googled
No.
cream pie and
Yeah. Don't.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
We don't- That's
That's
like,
a whole nother meeting.
yeah. That's like my buddy Ron told me about munging, and I about threw up.
God.
All right, you have to find it objectable, and that is found in being honest, unselfish, and fearless. John is right. That is, yeah. You have to find it objectable. And you know what? This, like you said it earlier, you go to 10 different churches, 10 different pastors read the same verse. You're going to get 10 different descriptions, and I've said that from day one about this program. You get 10 different sponsors.
Everybody's entitled to their.
That's why I think big book studies are great. Like Thursday night men's meeting, you get about 1,000 years of recovery in that room, on average, and you're hearing everyone's take on what we just read, and everyone's brain sees it differently. And I get it,
Right.
I get it, and I think that's the power of
Makes
this
all kinds
week.
of sense,
Yeah, and you take what you leave.
Right.
You take what you want, leave the rest.
Yeah.
If it don't apply, let it fly.
Right. But there's a lot of it that needs to be. That saying kind of makes me want to puke.
What if it don't apply, let it fly?
No.
Oh.
Take what you need and leave the rest. I need it all, man. I'm sorry. I
Well,
need it all.
but here we go, Bob. Here. When you get some newcomer coming in and starts giving advice, take what you need, leave the rest. There are things that don't need to be taken.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. Totally.
We're on the Objective Show now. I love this. John, keep them coming. I need that. You know, I don't get it. 90% of everything's coming through YouTube. This is a weird change. I think the
I
kid.
directed more people towards that.
Well, last 4 weeks ago when I was in Arkansas, one of Henry's sponsees hopped on and I let him start making some changes, but my numbers were through the roof on live listens. But now it's like everything's through, I don't know, we'll figure this out. Anyone knows an engineer or producer, send them my way, please. Please give my number. I have it in the chats, online, blah, blah, blah. Timothy J. Warren on Facebook, you can find me. So, boys, we just started shooting from the hip here. All right, Darrin, what do you want to talk about?
Go next.
Did you say pass?
Yeah, because
Did you just?
give me.
You gotta go tinkle?
Yes, I do. I gotta pee real bad.
All right.
You come up with a topic, and when I come back,
All right. Oh, Bobby.
just take
So, here we go.
What,
Too late.
Oh, no. Everything okay?
yeah, everything's fine.
All right, good.
I'm happy. Things are good in my life. If I was any better, I'd have to be twins so I could have twice as much life.
So here's a question. You just celebrated a birthday.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday.
Yes, sir.
The people from Papa say happy birthday to you. I said I'd say happy birthday on the show from our waitresses.
Yeah.
I can't.
Aaron
and
I can't think of the other.
yes, her. Both the girls. They're so nice.
Yeah,
I
they are.
can't even
They're
think of their name. Jesus.
Good people.
And Jamie.
Good hearts.
And yeah, they're all good people. What'd you do on your birthday?
You know what?
You got pie faced by someone. I did. I felt so. You wanted to know something, and I didn't even talk to you about it. I so got my head about it, and I got back to Ron's. Of course, they laughed at me. I'm like, I feel terrible. I said I was gonna. They're like, oh, well, then why didn't you?
Yeah,
I wanted to do
it is
breakfast.
what it is.
Yeah,
like
but
I said, I don't. Yeah, but you're right. You said you were going to do something, you didn't.
I said I wanted to do something.
Oh, okay, all right.
Big difference.
There
I wanted to take you to
backpedaling.
I wanted. I
know
said I
you
wanted
said
to take
you
you to
wanted-
breakfast, but you're at work, and that's all right. And then I said I want to do lunch, and when you called, I was test riding a potential. No, I was riding my new motorcycle. Whatever. Excuses are like assholes. We all have them. They all stink. How did we just have this topic, and now we're talking about how I pie faced you again? Holy buckets!
You know, and I don't.
You didn't. You worked on your birthday.
My job is not to judge you. You know, my job is to let you know if I feel hurt by something. You know, there wasn't a full commitment, like you said. I'd like to take you to lunch. Okay, now I'm going to take you to lunch. I'm taking you to, to breakfast or whatever. The truth of the matter is, you said I'd like to. So it is what it
The
is.
main thing is, did you get the voice message? Did you listen to it from? Did you listen to our voice message? I
from
called you
Erin?
from Papa's,
Yeah,
and she
Erin
was on there.
said-
Yeah.
yeah.
She's being a little
I
snot.
sent her a text.
Did you? Okay. Yeah.
So,
We waited for you to bring up a topic.
oh,
We didn't bring one up. We were waiting for you to come back.
okay.
Come on, topic
Great.
time. we're not bound to 11 o'clock. We're going to wrap whenever we're done.
Yeah.
That's how it's going from here moving forward. I think we've had a bunch of good conversations. I think this is the way the show's going to go until I get some things figured out on here. But
that makes sense.
Moving forward, we got to figure some things out. I know, Darrin, you were talking about you'd like to be more part of this podcast.
Yeah, I'd like to. I really enjoyed my experience last time, and this time, I was just happy to be called upon to come here. So
that was Bob.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That was all Robert.
I have no idea how much I'm adding to the conversation.
Plenty.
You're adding enough.
Yeah.
Plenty. You being in that seat adds what we need. Another voice.
I'm just enjoying myself, and it's good to be around here. This is you say that an AA meeting is two alcoholics working together. That is a meeting, and being laid up and not being able to go out and do stuff as much as I want to. I mean, this is an extension. This is another meeting for me. So
Sure.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. Anytime we can share our recovery with other people, which is what we're doing at this moment, I feel like that's still being a part of your recovery.
Yeah, it's experience, strength, and hope. That's what we're sharing.
I'm still on camera. I don't get this damn machine. I need a producer.
We got to figure out the video.
I don't.
The audio squared.
Here's what bugs me is no one gets to hear this.
Oh, you gotta hear that rim shot.
I know. I got sounds audience.
We got some fun stuff that we could play to make you all a part of this.
Maybe they do get to hear it now. I don't know. It's frustrating, but we'll get it figured out. We'll get it all hammed out. I think the way I've got to do this is I can pre-record these shows because now I got this machine's like top notch, and I think I can pre-record shows and then
Oh really?
What
you don't even have to be here?
Technically, no. And
you record it, be here at some point.
No, I should. The way this one is I can call you guys on the phone three-way. I plug my phone into this. It records everything.
Yeah, fuck that. I'd rather see you guys.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever get the same conversations.
No, I won't do that. I don't mind doing that.
So now I can find out if we get to hear this or this.
Oh, there it is.
But
sad trombone. I love it. You had it last time. You played it all the time last time I was here, and this is the first time I got to hear it. I'm so excited.
They don't. Audience doesn't. So I think there's a simple button on here that I press that enables it to marry it to the podcast. But whatever. This is pointless for me to talk about something we're not doing. All right. Well, you know what, audience is. Again, if you're struggling, and I know we've had a lot of people listening on and off throughout this. We've got like 50 people now that are on between 4 different platforms. If you are struggling, please reach out. Plenty of people have been on here. You can direct message someone or just reach out to me and I can get you in touch with anyone or any resources. We're at 2218. There's so many different recovery groups that meet here, all different fellowships. I talked about New Hope Alano. We're at 2218s. This Alano is the world's continuously longest running Alano in the world, which is huge. We've had people from Woodwork for Recovery. This show is about recovery. It's about that second chance at life, and we share about it. So if you're interested about it, reach out to me directly. I can get you the information you need. If you're struggling, please do reach out. You're worth it. Fight for yourself. And if you're having some mental health problems or something, go to a doctor.
Put me out of work.
Yeah. What do you mean?
We talked about this last time. We just kind of led up to it. I clean up crime scenes.
Oh yeah, Darrin. Yeah.
And it's a morbid job. You have to have a certain mindset to be able to do it. And I would really, really like to be out of a job. I mean, I would much rather not get paid and not have to do the things that I have to do than.
Right. Yeah. No. And I get it. And I think the audience, just if you're struggling, please reach out. The one thing you heard us talking about accountability tonight, amends and just connection. That's huge. I always share about making these connections, but then there's a second part to that, like utilizing these connections. My phone book is filled with people in recovery, and someone's phone is playing on.
I've been hearing that the entire
I think
time.
it's my fault. I turned your volume up, so it's your phone. I think just turn the volume down a little. It's my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
So I have a question for you guys on this topic. Actually.
Perfect.
All right.
Shoot.
So, say you're making your amends, right?
You're good. Yes.
You make your amends. You clean your side of the street, and that person is not accepting of your amends. What do you do to not build resentment against that person for not acknowledging?
Give it to your higher power.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You are responsible for the effort, not the outcome. And that's what someone told me that a long time ago. We can put in the effort, but the outcome is not going to be a lot of times what we want it to be. And that's once again that acceptance thing of accepting it for what it is and move on. You did what you needed to do for your side of the street. So.
Question about that, Bob, is that, am I right in saying this, because I've kind of come to this conclusion with making amends, is I'm selfishly doing the amends for me.
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
I don't mean to say selfishly. I'm doing the amends so I can grow.
So you feel better?
Yeah.
In a way, but not in the way you made it sound. In a way of cleaning my side of the street.
Right. But at the same time,
but not selfishly.
Yeah.
Is what am I going to?
Yeah, but not like an ex-girlfriend that there are. I mean, I do an amends. Okay, I know I hurt this person, but that should be. I mean, if I'm a halfway decent human being, that should be weighing heavy on me, knowing I wronged someone. That should be weighing on me. And I'm making amends because I know I wronged them. I know I wronged them, meaning I know I wronged them. So I make this amends to make right my wrongs, but only from my side of the street. I can't control their side of the street on this. I have to accept the outcome. Am I right in that, Bob? I have to accept the outcome of whatever happens with the amends I make.
Whether it's whether you hope and pray. All you can do is hope and pray that it's going to go well. But the truth of the matter is if you have guilt and shame and remorse for your behavior, that's not selfish. That's trying to get rid of something that could actually internally hurt you.
And I guess that's where I come up with saying I'm doing this for me. It goes to like a thorough fifth step for me. It's if I've got something piling on guilt or shame.
It even says it in the book, I might not recover if I hold on to this stuff.
Yeah.
I might not.
So I guess it's potato, however you see it. Like, yes, I'm trying to make up for wrongs I've done. And hopefully it helps the person I've wronged, and there's something I can do to amend that through their eyes. But it's, for me, the way I see it is cleaning up my side of the street. Getting rid of that guilt and shame that's been weighing so heavy on me for these wrongs I've done.
Get rid of your hypocrisy. Be able to look at yourself in the mirror and not feel like a piece of shit for the things you did. Yeah, I understand.
I think, is that kind of because I go to someone.
Well, that's not so much for selfish reasons.
No.
Self-preservation.
Yes, like I say, however, the angle you want to see it through, what looking glass. Potato. But I go to someone and I'm trying to make an amends and they basically tell me, get fucked. That's okay. That's okay. Maybe it wasn't time to make that amends for them yet or for them to hear it. You have acceptance is the answer to all my problems today.
Yeah. And it says we don't wait around to make these direct amends. Made direct amends as soon as possible, basically.
Yes.
Except when to do so. So, yeah, I mean, that's the basics behind that. So,
I'm glad we started talking about this too, because the last 3 shows we've wrapped up with the same thing we're going to wrap up with today. So before I do wrap up, boys, anything that you guys want to get off your chest, open up another topic? I'm okay either way. We got plenty of time to do so, or get into putting the brakes on this bad mamma jamma.
we can slow her down if you want.
Yeah, I don't really have anything that I'd like to get off my chest.
Well, I'm gonna say this on air is I'm gonna utilize you moving forward then,
That'd be great.
because I have no co-host. I'm not sure our producer's dealing with stuff, and we'll see where things go. I know how to run things semi.
Just leave it up to your listeners, Tim. If the listeners want me back.
Oh, they do. Hey, anyone. I mean, no, yes, they. I got feedback when you were here last time. So there's this book. There's a book out there. God, does it say the author's name in this? I'm always curious if it's whatever. There's this book that we read. There's an author of 100 men and a few, or like 97 men and 3 women that put this book together. And there's a page about 417 on the 4th edition. The first full paragraph. It goes like this. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, or situation, some fact of life unacceptable to me. And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, absolutely, guys, nothing happens on God's world by mistake. Until I could accept my alcoholism, drug use, this, that, or the third when it comes to my problems. Until I could accept that, I could not stay clean or sober. Unless I accept life completely on life's terms, I cannot be happy. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and in my attitudes. That's acceptance. Boys,
What do I need to change? How do I need to make a difference in how I'm perceiving what's happening? You know, I say that a lot.
right?
Because I want to look at it in my childish, selfish way of I want what I want when I want it, and
Yeah,
I want it now.
and now,
And it's not what I want, so I'm gonna, scream and blah blah about it, and then that's when you lose patience. So, the truth of the matter is, we pause when agitated, so we no longer burn up our energy foolishly to suit just our own personal and selfish needs, so that we can demonstrate God's omnipotence in our life, or our higher power's omnipotence.
Boy, pause when agitated is such a hard thing.
but it's a good practice to get into.
Well, it's something that I mean, there's a lot of people who are pretty low key out there, but man, that is tough for me. I mean,
It's hard.
I got kids that are starting to fuck up in life. And
With kids, I get it. That's got to be a hard
I got
one.
a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old now, and the older one's starting to get in trouble, and to just not completely come unglued has been a real challenge. And I don't think that I would be handling these situations as gracefully now, even though graceful for me is like Bambi on ice. So I think without alcohol in my life, I'm able to parent better. That anger that builds up, yes, sometimes I blow my top and I have a tough time, understanding or listening to another side of an argument, especially from my kids, when half the stuff they're going to tell you is BS and lies. But I'm not blowing my top. That pause that you need when it comes to the anger, oh my gosh, it's really hard to do that.
And you found, though, with your recovery, it's making it easier.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, there are situations where I wasn't one to break doors or punch holes in the walls. I would punch you in the face instead, and then deal with the consequences later. And I'm so happy to finally be free of that short temper, even though my fuse is only an inch long when it wasn't.
But yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I mean, we're growing
Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
Right.
Progress, not
And
perfection.
you know what? There's times like I find myself being pissed off and reacting, but while reacting, coming up with that thought, like, wait a second, just think a second, slow it down. Like,
sad trombones, Keith.
yeah, I don't know. I was hoping
You
that
know,
one worked.
and that's another thing is, you know, when I do sometimes get upset, my wife like, don't get mad or don't be mad, and I'm like, wait a minute, these are my feelings. I worked hard to get them, and that's my feeling that I'm feeling right now. So please let me feel my feeling. Yeah, you know, as long as I'm not being, servile and scraping to someone.
Right.
If it's just, you know, if I'm saying it under my breath or just saying, you know, screw this about the whole situation, but a more or less polite way to say it. You know, and then my significant other says, hey, you know, calm down. Well, wait a minute. I'm trying to work through this anger thing. I said, you know, I told her, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, that's the cool thing I love about my relationship with my wife. My ex-wife and I, we would say F you in the hall, and that was the best sex we had as we passed each other, you know. That's how good, and that's why she's an ex.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, the wife I have now, you know, we've gotten in heated discussions, but we never say F you to one another. We don't swear at each other, you know. I can swear about the situation, but I'm not swearing at her per se. I don't
At the
that,
situation.
Yeah, I'm swearing at the situation, not at her per se. So, and I have to point that out sometimes, you know, because she'll take it as I'm swearing at her, and I'm like, no, I'm not swearing. I'm not saying you per se. I'm saying about.
But in the heated moment, it's like,
yeah.
Or wait, no, that was the wrong one. I'll figure this out.
But yeah, so I mean, that's the thing is trying to be respectful of one another and learning to have constructive arguments. You can have this.
Yeah, having good communication. I don't know about you guys, but my communication skills went through the roof after I put the bottle down.
Oh, yeah. Are you hearing that echo, you guys?
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to figure this out one day. I think I've just turned up all my effects. But what's real weird is they don't hear it. So, all right, boys, I think we're going to wrap the show up here. And it's still echoing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, I will figure it out one of these days.
It's gone.
No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, it's gone.
Hey.
No.
I'm hearing it in my voice. My audience is like, you guys are high. All right, you know what? Till next week, we got Rick and Jesse coming back. We're going to attack step 10, I believe. Oh, my, I got to take these off. I can't hear my echo. We do appreciate everyone who's checked in tonight. Sorry about the 3-week lull. Again, acceptance. That is the answer to my problems today. If you're struggling, please reach out. Bob, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Darrin, thank you for coming on tonight. Darrin, what are you grateful for in life today?
Health right now. I've been in such a bad spot for such a long time. It's great to finally feel like a normal human being again. So I'm really extremely thankful for modern medicine, health, and finally feeling good. And to be honest with you guys, you know, I've been on these opiates for over a year now, and I'm starting to get to the point where it's time to be done with them. I obviously had this major surgery a few weeks ago, but I think I'm going to have a tough time with it, and I'm going to need some help. So if you guys could...
you know what, here's what I'll tell you, and I know you're on your gratitude side, and I wish you'd brought this up earlier. You're already attending places that can help you through it.
Right.
It's what helped me.
And I have to, for me, I have to talk about it.
Yeah, so that's key.
I have to,
that it's no longer a secret.
Yeah, right. It can't be a secret.
I'm able to say to myself, my family, yeah, I've been on these pills for a long time, and it's going to be an issue getting off of it. I know it's coming. I got a couple weeks left.
We don't know nothing until it happens, but you can prepare. I mean,
Yeah, if there's
Talk to your doctors. There is step down. There is medical stuff that can help you take care of this, because it's not something you cold turkey when it comes to opiates. Just be vocal with your doctors about it.
Starting to get nervous about it, and that's why I'm talking about it, and that's why I'm bringing this up. And
talk to your doctors. Definitely talk to them about it.
So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful I'm able to get stuff like this out into the open and, tell another human being. Have a puking session, if you will. Thank you guys.
Thank you, D. Rand.
Bobby?
D. Rand.
What are you thankful for?
Grateful.
I'm grateful that I can be present in people's lives today, especially my daughters and my grandsons, and I get to be there for people. I get to be a human being rather than a human doing. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Perfect. All right, boys. Same bat time, same bat place. Next week we will be banging out another show with Rick and Jesse, Step 10. Thank you again, everyone. We love you, and you are worth it. So fight for yourself.
Good night, everyone.
Bingo, bango, wingo.